अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मेरा नाम है सुदेश ग्राफिक्स वाला। आज का हमारा टास्क है कॉलोनी का, और कॉलोनी का टॉपिक है थैंक यू, द एटिमोलॉजी ऑफ ग्रेटिट्यूड। हाय माया,
Hey, how's your day going so far?
what is the main meaning of the phrase thank you?
At its simplest, it's just a way to acknowledge that someone did something kind or helpful for you. It's basically the social glue that lets people know their effort was noticed and appreciated. Do you feel like it's used too much or maybe not enough?
Which old English word is thank derived from?
It actually comes from the Old English word donk, which originally meant thought. So when you thank someone, you're essentially saying you're keeping the thought of their kindness in your mind. Pretty poetic for such a common phrase, right?
What did the old English word bank originally mean?
I'm not familiar with that one. Let me look into that. It actually looks like it comes from the Old Norse word banga, which meant to pound or hammer. It's basically a very old way of describing hitting something hard. Does that fit with how you were thinking about the word?
Around which century did the phrase thank you become common in English?
Let me double check the timeline on that. I love how you're tracing the DNA of these phrases, and it looks like thank you really hit its stride in the 1800s. Before that, around the 14th century, people used the more formal I thank you, but it eventually just smoothed out into the version we use today. Do you think we've become too casual with it, or is the shorter version better?
What does saying thank you express?
It's essentially an expression of gratitude and recognition. By saying it, you're telling the other person that you value what they did and that you don't take it for granted. It turns a simple action into a shared moment of connection.
Which language had a strong influence on the development of English expressions like thank you?
Which language are you thinking of?
Is thank you considered a formal, informal, or both types of expression?
It's definitely both. It's the ultimate chameleon phrase. You can say it to a CEO in a boardroom and it's perfectly professional, but you can also toss it out to a friend who hands you a fry and it's totally casual. Really just depends on the tone you use. Do you find yourself using more formal language usually, or do you prefer to keep it relaxed?
Why is gratitude important in everyday communication?
It's basically the social glue of our interactions. When you show gratitude, it validates the other person and makes them feel seen. It shifts the energy from a simple transaction to a real human connection, which usually makes people more likely to be kind to you in the future. Plus, it just makes the world feel a little less cold, don't you think?
Which two words make up the phrase thank you?
It's just those two thanking you. Simple and direct. Do you think it's more powerful because it's so short?
What is another common way to say thank you?
There are so many, but thanks is the most obvious one. If you want to be a bit more enthusiastic, you could go with, I really appreciate it, or you're a lifesaver when someone really pulls through for you. Depending on who you're talking to, you might even just use a quick cheers if you're leaning into that British vibe. Which one do you use the most?
How does saying thank you help build relationship?
It creates a cycle of positivity. When you thank someone, you're acknowledging their value, and that makes them feel appreciated. That feeling of being seen usually makes them want to be more helpful or kind to you next time, which builds a foundation of trust and mutual respect. It's like a small investment in the relationship that pays off over time. Do you think people forget to do this enough these days?
What emotion is most closely associated with gratitude?
I'd say appreciation is the big one, but it's usually tied to a feeling of warmth or contentment, like that little glow you get when someone does something unexpected and kind for you. It's a really grounding emotion.
What is the opposite of showing gratitude?
I'd say humility or respect. When someone has an attitude, they're usually projecting a sense of superiority or frustration. So the opposite is that openness and willingness to be humble or just plain considerate of others.
What are some non-verbal ways to express gratitude?
A simple smile is probably the biggest one. A nod of the head or a thumbs up also works wonders. And if you're close with someone, a quick pat on the back or a hug can say way more than words ever could. Sometimes the silence is where the actual meaning is. Do you think nonverbal cues are more honest than saying the words?
चलिए हमारा कॉलोनी फिनिश हो चुकी है थैंक यू